What's up, guys? Back in downtown Punta Gorda today. Gonna see if the rain holds out. Getting some spurs of sunlight here, but a lot to cover. Gonna start off with the condo situation here in Florida. Just keeps deteriorating. The national news is all over this stuff now. The problems we're having down here with the new laws, HOA fees jumping, people not being able to get insurance on these things. Two stories that recently came out. Just kind of sad to hear. One was, I believe it was a condo complex in Orlando. The residents there that have been living there for 20, 30 years are actually being forced out because their HOA went from $300 a month to $900 a month. And people on fixed incomes cannot afford that. That is one of the big issues we're running into around the state is most people here are retirees, and when their fixed income expenses change that drastically, $600 more a month, there's no way out of it. They're scurrying, trying to wonder what they're gonna do. Either you're gonna need to sell, you probably have a lot of equity, you're gonna need to sell if you can find a buyer, or the HOA can potentially foreclose on that unit. And that's starting to look like that might be a very viable scenario for a lot of these condo complexes, because if your residents can't pay and you have no buyers at least at the prices they need to get out, what is the other alternative? And before we start, guys, it's been a while since I've been up here, but if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. If you find value in this content, please like this video, maybe put the notification bell on. It helps me out immensely, and I'm grateful to everybody who has taken this ride with me, and we'll get right into it. And I should clarify, it's not just retirees on fixed incomes. Condos for a long time were a very affordable solution for first-time home buyers that maybe couldn't get into a single-family house. They were priced out. Condos were more affordable, took care of some maintenance. So a lot of FHA, a lot of first-time home buyers actually purchased condos in the past couple of years. And now another story out, a 23-year-old woman is looking at potentially losing her condo because her HOA fee, I have to read this because I had to make sure I was correct, went from $651 a month to $1,824. That's a 3 times increase, guys. Nobody can be expected to bear a cost like that, especially not a 23-year-old just starting out. Now, if I understand the article correctly, this is stemming from the condo association being millions short. So not only, and it gets worse from there, guys, not only seeing a 3x increase in her HOA fees, they are also levying up to a $22,000 assessment on this woman's unit and other units in the complex. And when you start doing that math, she now has to, at 23 years old, she now has to figure out, or on a fixed income, let's say anyone in this complex, they now have to figure out how they're gonna come up with $40,000 more a year to maintain this property. It's not gonna happen. And depending on when they bought, it's gonna cause serious problems for them, because if you purchased at the peak or close to it, or prices are not rising as fast as they were in your area in the past year or two, you're gonna find yourself in big trouble. Now, I have friends and associates who think that at some point, these condos are gonna need to be bailed out by the state. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I probably, unfortunately, what I think is the most likely scenario is they do foreclose on a large majority of the units, which also is going to kick up. The bank don't want that. The bank don't want to be paying HOA fees. And at a certain point, maybe the entire HOA votes to just sell to a developer and be done with it. That is a likely scenario I could see on some of these, because when you're at $40,000 a year more to your residents, I don't know a lot of people who can handle that. That's just absolutely insane. And I told you guys about some new condos they're building here. I've spoken them in my previous 2 videos. I've talked about them. And the last one, they had dropped these brand new condos to $240, and I mentioned that a owner decided to list their condo for $300,000. The exact same condo, but now it's a year older, it's lived in. They're gonna ask $55,000 more than what you can get new. Well, the builder just came out today and put 6 more brand new condos on the market in the $260 range. So I think that seller is completely out of luck. And unfortunately, in that case, you're competing with a builder who's putting a race to the bottom here. I don't see them being able to sell that for 300 grand. Why would anybody? Wildwood Pizza back here. They're not open, but I do smell pizza. So got me considering a stop. So another thing I want to touch on with builders is it's very strange right now. The reps have gotten very aggressive, very high pressure salesy, very FOMO. It wasn't the case like this about in the previous 2 months. Obviously we were in season, and I'm not sure if it's a matter of they didn't sell as many units as they thought they would, or I don't know, the quarter's ending, but I'm noticing I'm working with 4 or 5 separate builders and separate reps, and most of them are trying to handle things the same way, which I don't think is good. You know, they're calling people, trying to create a sense of urgency. The price is gonna go up, you're gonna lose the lot, you're not gonna be able to do this if you wait very much longer. If we open another phase, who knows what those will cost? And like, honestly, all that's true. They could open new phases in a place you're looking, and it could be more money. You could be waiting for the right lot and somebody else could buy it. Absolutely a possibility, but that's not how I like to conduct myself. One builder in particular, with a customer of mine, we had made it clear to this builder the timeline for purchase is probably 3 to 4 months out. This person has to sell their house somewhere else, and they're not ready to do that yet for various reasons. So, very graciously explained, we'll be back maybe sometime in the summer or fall. And the phone calls start. Hey, what's going on? I told you what's going on. What do you mean what's going on? Well, how do we get them to act faster? We don't get them to act faster. They need to sell their house. Well, can't they get a bridge loan, or can't they get something? No, what is wrong with you? I'm not gonna go and ask my customers, who knows if their house is gonna sell? It's probably gonna sell, but I'm not gonna go and ask my customers to throw a loan down when they wanna use funds from the sale of their home. So the pressure continues, keep calling, and I keep telling the guy, listen man, this is not how it's gonna happen. You need to cool your jets. Plus, there's plenty of available lots and homes there right now. So in a couple of months, I don't really see that changing. Well, they took it upon themselves to just completely circumvent me, call the customer directly, which they're well within their rights to do. I understand that, but started the same thing. And they started tag teaming the customer with reps saying, hey, you know, you gotta move now, you gotta put a deposit down, you better list your house right this second. And you know what? That customer turned around and really liked this place, really liked this area. I thought it would fit pretty good for them, and said, you know what? After looking into it, I'm going somewhere else. And I said, I absolutely support that, 100%, because that's not how you should do business. And it's not the market down here that would even really warrant that kind of business. So a lot of follow-ups, a lot of high pressure stuff, a lot of if you don't act now, things are gonna change. But we know nationally, builders are pulling back. Or at least that's what they're saying, because maybe they built too much. So that's kind of a shift in climate for the sales reps that I've seen. It's numerous ones have done that. None have been that extremely aggressive. I think that was a really bad move. If you're watching this, we're not coming back, so they may be watching this, and you know why. So when you get pressured like that, and I understand that it's sales, guys, people don't want to deal with that. People don't like this high pressure, used car salesman crap, and that's kind of why people in sales, and in our industry in particular, get into these comparisons. You know, I've told you guys before, I hate salespeople. I'm a salesperson. I didn't think my life would go this way, but I have been in sales for 20 years now, so this is me. One thing that I think a lot of new agents come in, well, at least what they told me, I don't know if it's still the methodology, but when you come into the business, they tell you that, you know, you want to make friends with agents, you want to know the agents. Now, do I want to have an adversarial relationship with you? Absolutely not. We can have a smooth transaction and we can work things out, but I don't feel the need to be buddy-buddy with everybody in the real estate industry. And that may be me coming from a sales background. A lot of real estate agents, as you guys know, do not come from a sales background, so they may not be used to that. I'm used to 10-hour days, quotas, getting pitted against other salespeople. We're hitting contests, we're trying to do that stuff. Not a lot of things go on like that in the real estate industry. I respect that, but also respectfully, you don't get me business. You know what gets me business? going hard for my customers, doing what they ask of me. So when I get in the mix with these high pressure agents, some of these builder reps, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy, because they're like, hey, if they don't buy right now, they're going to lose their opportunity. We need to get them this, we need to do that. We got to get them set in. And I just turn around and go, they're not ready. I'm not doing any of that. Like, what are you talking about, man? And maybe I'm a shitty salesperson. Maybe honestly, I'm just not good at sales. I'm going to try to do what's right always for my customers. Now, I always tell you guys, all this I'm saying to you could be absolute crap. I get a check when you buy a house, but that's my personal opinion. That is the way I conduct business. Other sales reps that I was working with, probably in the winter, around December to February, completely ghosted me. Haven't been talking to me for months. All of a sudden, hey, we got these houses, anyone that you'd have interested, can you pass this along to any buyers? Have left me alone, showing up at the office, dropping stuff off at the office. That stuff all kind of came to a halt the past 2 months, and it's interesting to see it flip right on back. Now, that was our high selling season. I always tell everybody that. So I just didn't think they'd get so comfortable in how quickly things have turned around. But still, not a lot of them, above that $800,000 price range, want to really play ball with anything you're building still. Unless it's move-in ready things, they're holding pretty tight. Builders 500 and under, they are seeming extremely willing to talk to you and work things out. And of course, guys, we know why that is. You have the two-tier economy right now where, unfortunately, it's just been split off. And once you get under that 700 mark, mortgages have more of an effect, rates have more of an effect. When you get over the eights, people, like I've always said, some people are killing it, they just don't care. And I gotta tell you guys, even some people from up northeast, when I tell them, hey, your insurance is probably gonna be like 5 to 6 grand, and then your taxes are gonna be 5 to 6 grand, and they're like, that sounds great. Awesome. I live in New Jersey. My property taxes are $14,000. Somebody told me their property tax in Long Island was like $30,000 a year. So I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder they come here. They don't care. You're gonna come here and be like, oh, 10,000 all in, 20,000 all in. That's still a net positive. And the insurance situation here is shifting a little bit. I'm very cautious on really leaning. Oh my God, I just killed myself on that plant. Very cautious on leaning into saying it's alleviating. I am seeing promising things. They're not as bad as the media has been reporting, or even some of the stuff that I was previously reporting. It's softened up a little bit. I'll tell you what, guys, my car insurance went down 10% on my renewal, which I thought was very strange. So there may be other reasons for that, though. But some light is coming insurance-wise at the end of the tunnel as more and more people come into the state. They are offering competitive policies. If they will stay competitive, what happens when your renewal comes up? Do they drop you 6 months later? I don't know. But right now the climate is softening on that a little bit, at least in my area of the state. As you guys know, inventory has skyrocketed here in Southwest Florida. Surprisingly, the prices, median prices, pretty stable the past 2 years. I've seen some crazy claims in my comment section that I'll like, hey, some guy said, oh, Cape Coral is still on fire, it's immune from hurricanes, and the prices are still going through the roof. And it's like, brother, okay, like, where are you getting this information from? I did a video in the winter that specifically targeted Northport and Cape Coral. I believe it was a Redfin article, but there was an article that said, this is where they expect pretty much the biggest price declines in the nation. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Northport's median sales price has declined. Surprisingly, Charlotte County, from the peak, they have declined. Charlotte County's has stabilized a little more than Northport has. But look at the inventory growth. Look at this trajectory for Northport, Florida. When they say to the moon, that's, you know what I mean? It's not Dogecoin, guys. It's our inventory levels. It's crazy. That's gonna do it for today, guys. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.